back to AETV Live here, and this is Health Talk with Ogaga Ikama. I've been speaking with Dr. Judith Agbono on stress management, and she has told us what stress is, the types of stress, causes, and some of the symptoms or signs that you can spot to ascertain that a person, an individual, is going through stress. Now, Doc, let's talk about how stress affects us as individuals. What are some of the complications that can arise from being stressed?
All right. So, stress can affect us in a whole lot of ways, varieties of ways. It can impair our life, impair our functionality, and even affect our physical health. And like what we earlier discussed, talked about some of the signs, right? So those are some of the ways stress can affect us because it can reduce our productivity. Then another way is that it can lead to depression. And for some people who are depressed, it can cause them to be hopeless and helpless. And in that state, it's very dangerous because these people can become suicidal when they feel like they're hopeless and they have no help. And also, stress can worsen pre-existing health conditions for people that have them. For example, if someone that has diabetes and the person is stressed, it can cause them to have persistent blood sugar in their body. Because one of the ways we respond to stress, right, is that the brain releases a lot of hormones. And because you're faced with a threat or you're faced with a challenge, so the brain knows that you have to address that. And so it releases some stress hormones in a bit that this will just give it that push to address whatever challenges is there. And so one of the things it does is that it releases the body fuel, which is glucose or sugar.
What do you call it? Body
fuel.
Okay.
Body fuel.
Okay.
So it releases the body fuel in the body because you have to have that drive to address that challenge. And so for someone who is stressed, maybe you're diabetic and you're chronically stressed, so now that means your body has an increased level of glucose that you're not using it for. Because the challenge you're supposed to address, you're not addressing it again. It's not chronic and it's not sustained in your body. So for someone that has diabetes now, it can worsen the diabetes because now there's increased blood sugar in the body and it's not difficult to control. Another thing is that it can lead to it can worsen hypertension in someone that has BP problem because again, that stress hormone that is being released, it increases your heart rate, it increases your blood pressure level because you need to fight, you need to address that. You fight or you fight. And so because of that, people that have hypertension, their condition is worsened, and it can also lead to several heart conditions too, which is not very pleasant as well. Then it can cause stomach problems, like I said, ulcers. And now research has even shown that stress can also lead to cancers. So
does it get any better?
It doesn't. It doesn't as well. And you really don't know. I mean, when you're stressed again, it just makes you unable to arrange your life and plan because you're mentally down. It can lead to burnout. So you're expected to do something and you don't do it. You can't prioritize and you just become unproductive at the end of the day. So those are some of the ways that stress can affect us.
All right. So in all honesty, you said quite a couple of things that are scary, so to say, especially the cancer part. Like just being stressed can trigger cancer. I don't know. Then I also got the part of the worsening pre-existing health conditions. We explained them from diabetes to hypertension and all of that. So now let's not look like we are just breaking bad news to people. And so it's like, man, come on, like I asked earlier, I'm like, does it get any better?
Yes, it does.
But I think it does. So how can stress be managed? Let's talk about stress management.
I want people to look at stress from the good side. In a sense that it's just the body alert system.
Okay.
telling you need to take action or something is happening. You've got a deadline to meet, you've got some interview, you've got an exam. So once you remember that your body is a little bit pumped up, you have to go and read. And so we need to look at it from the good part of the positive side. And there's one thing that you need to understand is that stress has made it possible that the human species is able to survive and
Okay.
adapt. Yes, evolutionary is because of stress, because of the fact that we are able to go to different climates, different ecosystem, underwater, under whatever condition you can think of, and able to survive in that condition is because we are stressed and we built adaptive mechanism. And so because of that, our species has been able to persist. And that's what separates us from animals. Remove stress. I'm very sure that a lot of us will die because we will not be able to cope and we just so in the end the human species has been lost. And so stress, like we earlier said, it's a good thing. And yes, stress can be managed. There's so many ways we can manage stress, but I'm just going to mention 5 ways that we can manage stress. And one of it is that we need to take breaks and rest. Some of us we think that we have so much expectations, and I don't blame us because we have a lot of persons looking up to us. We have work on our desk. We've got families. We've got so many things that we have to do. And so all these conditions or situations can make us stressed. But in all of this, we must find time to rest.
Okay.
Take breaks, sleep, go on vacations if you can afford it, or just go somewhere and just go and rest. Understand? And another thing again is sleep. Sleep is very, very important. And over time, they've said that ideally, a human is supposed to have 8 hours of sleep every day. And these scientists, they didn't mince what when they said it, because this is something that research have shown to be beneficial. So what does sleep do to help with stress? When you're sleeping, just like we have every part of our body, you're moving it and everything. So when you rest, that place is resting, it's not working. And so that is the same thing that happens with sleep. So when we are sleeping, the brain is resting. And so when the brain is resting, it's not working. It now has time to rejuvenate. It has time to, and another thing again to mention is that these scientists have shown that stress has a way of shrinking our brain. In
Brain?
fact, yes, it's not scary.
So is it good for the brain or it's not?
No, it's bad.
Okay.
It's bad. When your brain is shrunken, it's not good. And so stress has a way of shrinking your brain. So, but with sleep, it's helped to rejuvenate and it grows those dead cells those cells that were dead because of stress. And so that's one of the good things that sleep does. Another thing is eating well. Especially eating plant-based diet, taking in lots of fruits and vegetables, taking lots of fat. All these things help to improve our system and keeps us strong to be able to see stress and attempt to eat promptly. Then another one is how many have I mentioned so far?
Okay, you talked about take breaks, rest, sleep, eat healthy.
Yes. Another one is avoidance of our good habits. So we need to avoid things like
avoidance of
tobacco, smoking, taking hard drugs, because these substances have a way of sensitizing our system. And when our system is sensitized to stress, it makes us overreact to stress again. And so it's just like a vicious circle. You're stressed, you're taking tobacco, or you're smoking, you're taking alcohol. So now your body is oversensitized. So once you see stress, instead of reacting to it in just a little way, it overreacts to it. Then it causes you to have stress again. So so those are some of the. But just to add again, maybe if you're in an acute stressful condition, another thing again is to ask yourself, this condition I'm, is it helpful for me to stress over it? Is it worth it? And when you ask yourself these questions and what you keep hearing is no, it's not worth it, it's not helpful. At that point, just let it go. then find another time to deal with it. Because what most people, most of the time, don't do right is prioritizing. Things that are supposed to be done first, take it last. Things that are less important, they bring it up. So let's always learn to prioritize the things that are most important. Let's learn to do that first. The things that are less important, we bring it to the background, then address it later, so that we're able to meet up deadlines and it's going to reduce our stress level.
All right. So I think one of the good things I can take away from this is that I'm one of those persons that when I'm stressed, I sleep. So I can see that at least the way I respond to stress is a good way to manage stress. Like I don't bother thinking a lot, especially something that is beyond my control.
Yeah.
So I don't just bother myself. I just sleep and wake up rejuvenated and sleep. Like you said, sleep helps my brain. That's nice. All right, this is still Health Talk here on AETV Live, and I am with Dr. Judy Aguno, and the conversation has been on stress management. If you are yet to subscribe to this channel, please do well to subscribe and turn on notifications so you get updated when the next episode drops.